welcome to Physical Therapy, a movie podcast. My name is Kurt.
And I'm Sam.
We are good friends obsessed with movies and physical media here every week, talking and recommending movies. Our producer Kimberly is also here. What's up, Kim?
What's up, Sam? What's up, Kurt?
Hi, Kimmy.
Hi.
On today's episode, we have dove into our collections in search of movies that are widely considered bad, but we own for one reason or another. Sam and I have each picked 3. And later on, we'll be talking about which titles we picked and either defending them or conceding to them being shitty. But first, Sam, how was your week in movies? What did you see?
I've seen Furiosa since the last time we were on the mics.
Okay, we haven't talked about it, though. We saw it last night.
Okay, cool. Did you guys see it in IMAX?
Yes.
Yes. So what'd y'all think?
Furiosa is awesome.
Yeah.
No. But we'll get there.
All right. Fair enough. I had a really good time. It's very impressive that that George Miller is still out in the desert flipping cars over. They seem like very physical and very demanding movies. They look awesome on the big screen. I don't think this is perfect, and I don't think it reaches the heights of Fury Road, but I think there's some incredible, awesome stuff. And honestly, at the end of the day, I just like his view of this apocalyptic wasteland future. That stowaway chapter it's so cool. It's so cool.
It's the best action sequence I can point to probably since Top Gun Maverick, the end of that.
Yes, without a doubt.
To me, Maverick and this sequence we're talking about, which is at kind of the center point of Furiosa, I found myself just tightening up for 20 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever it is, just slowly being moving toward the edge of my seat, just so engrossed.
Yeah.
In the spectacle of it, the choreography of it, the way he designs action is just amazing in these last 2 movies, especially.
He has many quotes saying that, you don't need a lot of dialogue in his movies, and they're more akin to paintings and stuff like that. But just the amount that you could drop, honestly, both the sequences that you're talking about right now, the one in this and in Maverick, you can drop all the dialogue out of all of those and just have the image and the score. And it's still so moving and engrossing. I really love the way that he shoots action and thinks about it, and his weird zooms and everything that he uses to make those scenes as cinematic as they are. So anyway, Kim, shit all over it.
Yeah, this one just didn't do it for me. I went in being I'm not going to compare this movie to Fury Road. I know it's a different thing. It felt very cartoonish in a way that George hasn't done before, and it felt very corporate to me. It felt like a studio was really involved, and I didn't feel anything at all. And as soon as I was starting to feel something, it was gone. So I don't know. There was nothing that held me there. At the end of the day, I think it was a action movie for the boys. So
I think it's the best Hemsworth performance I've ever seen.
Oh boy, I do not think he should have been in that movie.
What's your second favorite Hemsworth performance?
Black Hat.
Extraction. Oh shit.
I thought you loved Black Hat.
I do love Black Hat, but he's bad.
What about Bad Times at the El Royale?
Oh, see, okay, so that's the thing. I thought those performances remind me of each other. He gets to be kind of this weird over the top bad guy, and I'm just there for it. They're vastly different performances.
Did you feel like there was a little too much Heath in Furiosa in his performance? I could feel him channeling it a little bit.
To be honest, I did not have that thought.
You don't just go through your day trying to find the Dark Knight and everything you're seeing.
I just didn't think he was nasty enough. He's just so
I mean, he's a cartoon for sure.
No, but he's just
the whole thing's
sleek.
A cartoon.
Yeah, but everything's so shiny and sleek in this. Whereas I'm so used to the gritty, gnarly characters. But there was none of that.
Dude, there's a pit of maggot people in this movie.
Yeah, but it felt so sterile. I don't know. I can't explain it. It just
Tell
felt...
that to the maggot people, Kim.
Yeah, I don't know what your maggot people look like,
well,
Kim, but
my maggot
that room
people,
did not feel
I don't
sterile.
need magnet people. I need people who actually matter to the story. And
Did you say magnet people?
Maggot. God.
We're off to a good start here.
Anyway.
Baby.
I felt like, yes, there is certainly more CGI than I would like in this movie, and it feels more polished than Fury Road, especially because the end credits of this film, this really isn't much of a spoiler, are just shots from Fury Road.
Which is
It's a weird choice.
It's a weird choice.
Terrible.
It invites immediate comparison,
Yes.
and they visually are quite different.
He still knows how to craft an action scene that, while, yes, this one uses more CGI than the last one, still feel real and bigger. And it's like, okay, so the middle set piece with the stowaway is like another big rig chase, which we've seen in The Road Warrior and in Thunderdome and in Fury Road. He loves these things. And this is the fourth time that he's made one of these crazy chase scenes, and it still feels different and new, and he adds cool new things into it. There's like paragliders in this movie that blew my mind apart.
I could watch it for the rest of my life.
Yes.
Oh my God. When their little parachutes popped open,
I lost it.
I mean, it was great, but like the polecats are just so more my thing. I don't know. But I agree. No, he does know how to orchestrate an action scene, and he's an expert at it.
After the stowaway action sequence, I leaned over to Kim and I said, "Is this the best movie you've ever seen?" And she said, "No."
Yeah.
Incredible.
And the monster truck, Hemsworth's monster truck. I don't know. It was just for the boys. It was like for the little boys and you all, I guess, I feel.
His motorcycle.
Oh my God.
Yes. Chariot.
I laughed every time he rode into a scene in it.
Yes.
It made me laugh so much.
It was like 20 minutes of the movie where like it took the laughter to wear off for me.
I know.
So I have been trying to show Kimmy the newest Scream movies.
The Radio Silence ones?
The Radio Silence, yeah. We were watching the Scream films last Halloween, and number 4, Kim, really took the wind out of your sails, correct?
Yeah, it wasn't fun anymore. It felt very dark, and it was just violence for the sake of violence, and there was no, like, I don't know. There was no interesting pieces to it, I felt.
Did Craven do 4, or was he dead at that point?
He did, yeah.
Was it his last movie?
It was one of them, for sure.
Yeah.
So we watched the 2022 Scream the other night, and were you a fan, Sam, of this first installment from Radio Silence?
Yeah, I think I liked it well enough. I had kind of fallen off that franchise by the time this was coming out. I'd heard good things. You know, I drank a couple beers while I was watching it, but I thought I had a pretty good time.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think it was worse than I remembered it, to be honest. They do some Billy Loomis choices in it that I just
those are bad.
They're so bad. They're so bad. And I kind of forgot how little Jenna Ortega has to do in this one, but I am such a big fan of the one that follows this, like the New York City most recent Scream I loved. So basically that's why we watched this, was to prime Kimmy for that one. But Kimmy, we're not a fan of this movie.
I'm just a Debbie Downer on this podcast, I think. But yeah, I guess I'm in the minority because I think a lot of people like this movie.
I'm with you though. I'm with you on this one. I'm not a big fan of it.
I really love the first 3 Screams. I think they're really fun.
Scream 3 is incredible.
Scream 3 is like arguably my favorite because it's so off the rails.
This though felt sort of maybe how you were describing Furiosa to me, where it just feels very studio, kind of obligatory kind of choices.
You're saying 5 does?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Jenna Ortega fan. She tends to bug me.
Well, see, I like her a lot. The Fallout, she's so amazing in.
What's The Fallout?
Oh my God, it's so good. It's about like a teen shooting and kind of the ripple effects of it within a high school.
I really like her too. I just forgot that she's sort of like in a hospital bed the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of called the first killer pretty quickly. However, I did love what's her face from Once
Mikey
Upon.
Madison.
Yes.
Mikey Madison. She was really fun.
She's great.
She's such a little creepy ghoul.
Yeah. But yeah, looking forward to forcing you to watch the next one.
Yeah.
Sam, I also watched Phase 4.
Oh, yeah. What'd you think?
Overall, I liked it. Phase 4 is about 2 scientists in the desert who are essentially like observing an ant colony that has become highly intelligent after like, I guess kind of like an unknown celestial event of some kind. It's not really clear, I don't think, at the beginning, like what exactly happened, but these ants slowly are kind of like taking over the surrounding area that they're in. And then like eventually they're worried that they're going to take over the entire world. But it's pretty much a two-hander of these two scientists and then a ton of like macro photography of real ants.
Yeah.
That's cut in like a narrative way. They're like telling a story of like the queen and kind of what's going on psychologically with these ants, but like just using nature photography, really. I've not really seen a movie similar to it. It's a little slow, but I thought the ideas were cool.
I've only seen it once and I was a little bored.
Yeah.
It's a little slow. How'd that Vinegar Syndrome disc look?
It looked great. So Vinegar Syndrome put out a 4K of it that is just like an incredible package. One of the best packages I think I have in my collection, honestly. I just love the way it looks. It's like very hard outer package, like paper cardboard outer package. And then there's like a beautiful slip sleeve within that has different artwork, the original artwork that's very evocative. And this movie is directed by Saul Bass, who did a lot of like title sequences for Hitchcock and designed posters, right? He did the Shining poster.
The Shining, yeah. I love that poster.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen another one of his films. I don't think so.
I think this is the only movie he ever made.
Okay, yeah, wow. So yeah, totally worth checking out if that sounds interesting, but a little slow for sure. Okay, let's talk announcements.
So Arrow announced their August slate.
Yep.
Which has a lot of big stuff in it, actually. It's like a big month for them. We got Robert Rodriguez, the Mexico trilogy coming out. So that's El Mariachi, Desperado, and Once Upon a Time in Mexico. We should highlight that in this box set, Desperado is the only movie that has a 4K.
Yep.
Everything else is a Region A Blu-ray.
Yeah, there's like a Desperado Steelbook 4K that you can get, or the trilogy, which includes, just these other two titles on Blu-ray. But I think it's because of their native formats being quote unquote lower resolution, at least for El Mariachi, which was shot on 16. And then I'm assuming Once Upon a Time in Mexico was probably captured at 1080p, given how early of a digital production it was.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Rodriguez has always been kind of at the forefront of using the next new technology, especially if it's cheaper. So I think you're probably right about that.
I'll be honest, so I still kind of wish they were doing at least Once Upon a Time in Mexico in 4K just for the colors. It's like, from my memory, a very colorful film. It would have been cool. I'm also not really sure how well that technology would translate over.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested in rewatching that one in particular because I only saw it once and I remember being like, this is the silliest movie of all time.
It's very silly. And I don't know like how well it holds up, but at the time I was diehard for Johnny Depp, and it is just such a funny performance from him. Willem Dafoe's in there too. It's fun.
I did not remember that.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, there's lots of stuff from Arrow. What else?
Silence of the Lambs, which is a UK locked... it's coming out in the UK. They don't have American distribution rights, but it is a 4K, so if you want to get that region-free disc, it's on there, although there is a American 4K of that movie as well. But they also have the original Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans in a 2-pack.
It's not the original.
The Ray Harryhausen ones?
No, this is the fucking what's-his-name ones.
You gotta be kidding me. For real? Oh my God.
Yeah, people are freaking out.
Oh, well then, guys, disregard what I just said. My mind is blown right now.
I know, because I saw the box and I was like, oh, amazing. These Ray Harryhausen ones are coming in this box. I'm in. And then I realized it was like the 2000s remakes of them.
Oh, who gives a shit? Well, I won't be buying that. But they did announce a Heathers 4K, which is fun. That'll be fun.
Absolutely. Kim, have you seen Heathers?
No, and I've been wanting to.
Ooh, yeah, we'll do that on the show for sure.
It's coming.
Okay, great.
It's coming.
I would love to see that.
That's a crazy movie because you watch that movie now and
it's nuts.
There's no way it would be made.
No. Did you look into that big box set, Sam?
Yeah, so this is a German filmmaker who I know from making the movie Necromantics, which is in this box set, which, you know what? I'm going to let you figure out what that movie's about. But the box set is called Memento Mori. the Jorg Budergerit collection.
Bootgerit, yeah, something.
He was an underground German filmmaker, made really intense, kind of crazy movies. I don't have much to say on it other than I honestly had to turn Necromantics off because it was a little too intense for me. But I would be willing to watch these. I don't know if I would shell out the cash for it, this box set personally, but it looks like a really cool box set.
There's no date on it, but Furiosa, Mad Max Saga will definitely be coming out on 4K.
There's a big 5-movie box set too, which I don't know what I was thinking, but I almost bought the first 4 box set 2 days before I saw Furiosa, and I'm so happy I held off.
I don't go for a box set for a franchise that feels like it's not definitely over, you know?
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, because it is very frustrating. I have the first, 5-6 Mission Impossibles in a 4K box set. And then, not that I really want to buy the newest one. And I haven't yet, but that will, if I do, it'll be outside of it, you know?
Yeah. We also heard they announced Jaws 3 and Jaws 4 4Ks from Universal. Sam, are you familiar with those installments of Jaws?
Yeah, I know that Dennis Quaid is in Jaws 3. And also known as Jaws 3D. And then Michael Caine and Sheriff Brody's wife are the main characters of Jaws 4.
Jaws the Revenge.
Which I do believe has a shark seeking revenge on the Brody family for killing its mom, which means that sharks can hold grudges.
I'm in.
I mean, I think Jaws 4 would honestly fit in this episode perfectly.
Yeah. So would Rules of Engagement, which was announced from Kino.
My boy.
A 4K of Rules of Engagement.
My boy.
William Friedkin's 2000 kind of military courtroom thriller starring Samuel L. Jackson and Tommy Lee Jones.
What does he yell at him?
Waste the motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Also from Kino, a movie called No Way Out.
I'm familiar with this movie, but I've never seen it.
Likewise, and I'm very excited to figure out what this movie is. It looks like it's right up my alley. It stars Kevin Costner, Gene Hackman, and Sean Young. This is a erotic thriller of some kind involving what looks to be the Navy from the cover. The tagline of the film is it a crime of passion or an act of treason? That's all you have to say to me. And I'm watching this.
Let's put our feelers out there for a Rules of Engagement, No Way Out double feature.
Dude.
Oh my God.
You better believe I'm getting Rules of Engagement. Sony is doing a steelbook of Drive in the US.
Yep.
On 4K.
Has that been available in 4K? Because that box set that we got, I think, is, European.
Yeah, it's Second Sight. There's a standard version of it, the Second Sight big box set that we have. That's pretty available, I think, around boutique shops. But this is the first kind of official US release of it. Not sure if it's the same transfer as the Second Sight, but if it is, it looks great. The last one that we'll do on the show to some degree is Sam and I both pre-ordered Vinegar Syndrome's recently announced 4K of the Chuck Norris film Invasion USA.
Hell yeah, baby.
Neither of us have seen it.
No, that's not true. I've seen it.
Oh.
I watched it with Jordan in college.
Oh, fun. Okay.
I rented it straight up disc rental from Netflix.
Oh, hell yeah. On DVD?
Yep.
And?
From what I remember, it's awesome. I'm trying to look up the director because he is somebody that at least I know. Joseph Zito, who also directed Friday the 13th Part 4.
Okay, you said that's one of the better ones, right?
That's the best one in
the
my
best
opinion.
one.
Yeah. So I can't wait.
I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think I've ever seen a Chuck Norris film.
Whoa, that's shocking, actually.
What are you, a big Chuck head?
I've seen a handful. They're fun.
Really? Does your dad like Chuck Norris? How did you see these movies?
I think I watched a couple in college, but my dad likes them too. But he's not crazy about it. I don't know. I've just seen a few.
Cut to me waking up in the middle of the night. Kim's side of the bed is cold. There's a blue flicker coming from our little theater room. It's 3 a.m. I walk in there and Kim's just doing fucking Jaeger bombs, watching Chuck Norris movies, smoking cigarettes.
Gotta love Chuck.
Doing air kicks.
Oh my God.
Okay, Sam and I are primed and ready with titles from our collection that some consider to be bad.
Well, let me ask you, what was your criteria for picking these?
I didn't really look to IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes or anything like that when I picked them. I did it afterwards, which was interesting and only confirmed my choices. But maybe that should have been kind of part of the criteria. But these were just ones that I believe from the public consciousness or whatever to be considered shitty.
Yeah, I had IMDb open on my phone and I would look at their average user rating.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to get 5.5 and under. I think one of mine is slightly closer to 6.
Okay.
And not that I put a lot of weight in Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes, but I felt like both of their Metacritic scores, because they list that on IMDb, were in the red.
Okay. My last pick has a relatively good IMDb rating that I was surprised to see.
Interesting.
Because I've always assumed it to be bad just based on word of mouth. Sam, kick us off.
We're going to start with our boy Billy Friedkin's 1990 masterpiece, The Guardian.
Oh.
The basic premise of this movie is that a young couple hire a woman to be their nanny. That woman turns out to be a baby sacrificing forest nymph who...
Forest nymph?
Yeah, worships an evil tree.
Wow.
You have this movie?
I do. I own this movie. It's a Shout/Scream factory release. I had seen this movie once before. I was on this this is years ago, and I was seeing every William Friedkin movie that I hadn't seen. So this was on there. At the time, I was like, yeah, that movie was super awesome. And I rewatched it with a couple friends last night. And it's not awesome, but it's pretty not great too.
Okay.
I'm not going to put it in the it's an actually bad movie category, but it doesn't feel like a William Friedkin movie in any way. I'm so interested in why he wanted to make this movie. It's his first horror movie since The Exorcist. From all the research that I could do, when he signed on to make it, he pretty much rewrote the whole script, and everyone thought they were making a different movie than they actually were. And people, actors, and studio were pissed when this movie came out.
Yeah, not a recipe for success, usually. If you hadn't said the date, I was going to be the Kevin Costner, Ashton Kutcher movie?
Okay, so I invited my, again, friend of the show, Trav B, over to watch The Guardian, and I said to him,
good sport, Trav, good sport.
I said to him, do you want to watch movie A or B? B will be my next choice. And he said, let's do The Guardian. I'll need my Ashton fix on Saturday night. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? And I remembered, oh shit, yeah, there's an Ashton Kutcher, Kevin Costner movie from 2006?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that existed.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that movie's actually bad. But yeah, if you like William Friedkin and you have not seen The Guardian, I guess I kind of recommend it.
I love it. You're defending it.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
So The Guardian with Kevin Costner, not to totally hijack your choice here, Sam. Directed by, it is 2006.
Wow.
So I didn't know you were such a big fan of it. Directed by Andrew Davis.
Okay.
He did a little movie called Collateral Damage and a little movie called A Perfect Murder and The Fugitive.
Let me tell you, on the second movie I chose for today's experiment, there is a trailer for The Guardian on it. And right there in bold letters, from the director of The Fugitive. And I went, oh my God. Is the other Guardian tight?
Dude, we will find out.
Oh, God.
Good choice, Sam. That sounds completely insane. No, I've never heard of it.
I think we should start a new series called Is It Tight?
That's a good idea.
And Vacancy's the first one.
Oh, Vacancy.
When we were first talking about doing this show, one of the titles I had pitched to Sam was What's Up With?
I'm there for it, man.
What's up with The Guardian? I think my dad was a big fan of it, honestly.
That doesn't surprise me.
All right. The first one I'm going to talk about is a 1996 movie, technically directed by John Frankenheimer. Just received a brand new Blu-ray from Scream Factory. It's a little movie called The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Oh, wow. Good call.
The Island of Dr. Moreau is based on the H.G. Wells novel from 1896. It's about a man who has survived a plane crash and is adrift at sea. He's rescued by another man played by Val Kilmer, who takes him to a remote island where an infamous scientist is doing genetic experiments on humans and animals and sort of combining the two. That scientist is played by Marlon Brando. And essentially, you know, the animal mutant humans end up on the loose and wreaking havoc for the humans who are subjecting them to this experimentation. This is a notorious production kind of disaster of a movie. Frankenheimer was brought in to replace Richard Stanley, who still has like a writing credit on this movie. There's an entire kind of underground sort of documentary about Richard Stanley's experience on this movie and getting fired and sneaking his way back onto set. And I believe he's actually an extra in the film and nobody knew it. That is not featured on the new Blu-ray, unfortunately. But this movie had a budget of $40 million and, according to Wikipedia, made 49.6. So this was a disaster, basically.
And didn't it like kill Val Kilmer?
Kill him?
I mean...
Oh, his career?
Not necessarily. Didn't he get really sick or something on set of this movie?
I don't know if he got sick.
Yeah, I think he did, right?
According to Wikipedia, he was served divorce papers on set and wasn't very nice.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Maybe that's it. I would just remember it from that documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Sick of the heart.
But he is... I don't know what he's up to in this movie. It is very uneven and kind of crazy what he's doing. Val Kilmer, I'm not like half of this movie he's doing a Marlon Brando impersonation, and this movie is completely unhinged by the end of it. And I'm here to tell you that it rules.
Oh man, defending it.
Yeah, defending it. I had seen it once before a long time ago and was kind of put off by the whole thing. Like it's pretty gross and just it's an upsetting story. You know, there's like a lot of just like visuals that just of animal kind of people hybrids that I don't think I was really ready for the first time. I've since seen Island of Lost Souls, which is another adaptation of the same story.
Sure, I have that Criterion.
Yeah, that's Criterion, exactly. 1932, that one came out. And this is like, it's kind of a disaster. It's hard to deny that fact, but it's in that pocket where like everything's practical and it's like this big movie going off the rails and more coherent than I remembered. I think for whatever reason, my memory of seeing it the first time was it being confusing or something. But another thing that I didn't remember about this movie is the body horror of it. There's some really great stuff that takes place in operating rooms with these sort of animal-human hybrids that's just really nasty. That was a pleasant surprise returning to it. I found it entertaining and a fun, practical kind of effects-driven production to look at. And honestly, for as much shit is talked about him and his performance in it, Marlon Brando's great.
Yeah, I've actually never seen this.
Yeah, you should. You should check it out. Brando's like allergic to the sun, so he is carried around like on this sort of throne of, you know, bamboo or whatever with like a tent on the top of it, and he's wearing like these flowing white gowns, and he's like a big guy at this point, and he's got white makeup all over his face, like his entire head is covered in, I'm assuming, sunblock. And then he's got these like Oppenheimer watching the bomb go off glasses on, like sunglasses. It's insane, but highly recommend if people have not given The Island of Dr. Moreau a try. You know, go in with your expectations in the right place, but it's a good, bad movie. Did
you buy that new Blu-ray?
I did.
Hell yeah.
Not a great slip sleeve, in my opinion. I don't really like the artwork.
It's kind of ugly, yeah.
Yeah, but there's a reversible of the theatrical poster on the...
I love they do that.
Yeah, and it's such a great poster. It's like, it just brings back such memories of the VHS. It's like all green.
Mm-hmm. It's actually very close to The Hauntings. Those images are very similar.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I know you know this movie. So next, I had to go with the straight up defending Till I'm Dead, absolute banger masterpiece, 2002's Reign of Fire.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Great.
Dude.
Great choice.
It had been a long time since I'd seen this movie front to back and sober. And I gotta say, this movie fucking rips. It is so comedy and so out there, but such a fun time. So for people who are not familiar with Reign of Fire, it takes place, it starts in 2002, I think. A young boy goes to visit his mom, who's on a digging site because they're laying track for a new rail system in London. Lo and behold, they dig into a wall that opens into a massive like cave, and there's a dragon living in there. This wakes the dragon up. He kills everyone but the young kid, and then it cuts to the title screen and it tells us that during this time there has been a war and dragons have wiped out pretty much all of humanity. It's very Mad Max, Nomad living, and Christian Bale, who is one of the two leads of this movie,
Hell yes,
is like a mayor of a castle town that's on the brink of extinction, and they're just trying to live their life and find a way to survive. He one day gets a knock on the old castle door, and it's none other than Matthew McConaughey leading an American army around London to hunt and kill dragons.
Matthew McConaughey with a cue ball shaved head, giant arms, tattooed, and what, like a sleeveless fur-lined leather
dense
jacket,
leather vest.
Yeah,
big beard, chewing on a cigar the entire movie.
He looks fucking awesome in this movie. And yeah, they fucking fight dragons.
Yeah, man. That's what this movie is about. Forget everything I just said. This movie is about fighting dragons. And it's awesome.
It's so good.
Our friend Joel constantly sings the ending credits song.
Yeah, Matic Gravity, the band.
Which I kind of forgot about. And then the minute it kicked on, I was like, oh, God, what a banger.
Yeah,
what
dude.
a banger.
Yeah, dude. Sometimes when Joel and I are the last two standing, we just throw that track on.
You got to, dude. I just had a really good time with it. I mean, it's dumb as hell. Some of the CGI looks pretty whack these days, but the dragon designs are awesome. Christian Bale gives a great performance. Gerard Butler plays his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I had talked about it on the show a couple of weeks ago. I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4 that had a young Matthew McConaughey in it.
Yeah.
And he's doing a similar performance in this movie to that one, where it is just dialed up to 1,000,000 and it's off the rails, and he doesn't care. It's like, it's not so much that he's chewing the scenery, it's that he is a whirlwind that has destroyed all of the scenery throughout every scene that he's in.
Hell yeah. So at one point, Joel, who we mentioned, lived in an apartment complex in LA here that had like a big courtyard at its center, and it was maybe 3 stories, probably like, I don't know, 20 units inside. And every Halloween, this apartment complex would collectively throw a Halloween party. And at this Halloween party was a costume contest. And I went dressed as Matthew McConaughey from Reign of Fire with a big battle axe. My head was shaved at the time. And for whatever reason, I won the contest. And like, I was up on the 3rd story, presented my prize in front of like 50, 60, whatever people who were all on the bottom level of this courtyard looking up at me. My prize was a DVD of, not Gremlins, but what's like the shitty Gremlins?
Oh, Critters?
Critters.
Yeah.
A DVD of Critters. And I walked up to the ledge, looked down upon these people, stuck my axe up in the air and screamed a Matthew McConaughey line from Reign of Fire. I screamed, "You take out the heart, you bring down the beast." And like 60 people below me just like erupted in like a war cry. It was the best moment of my life.
That's incredible. That is incredible.
Oh my God.
This would just be the greatest 4K Arrow of big bucks decision anyone could ever make. Yeah.
The minute they would announce it, I would take my Blu-ray and just throw it into the ether.
Just eat it.
Yeah, I'm there for it.
Okay, my next pick is a 1997 Jan de Bont film.
Oh, God. I know what it is.
With a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. Called Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Incredible.
This, of course, is the sequel no one asked for to the utter masterpiece that was 1994's Speed. Speed 1, the original, is in my top 3 favorite movies of all time.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I love Speed deeply. I had seen Speed 2, but probably not since VHS or even the theater. I may have seen this in the theater because this was PG-13. The original Speed is about a bomb on a bus. If the bus goes over 50 miles an hour, the bomb is armed. If the bus then goes under 50 miles an hour, the bomb explodes. It stars Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock.
Fucking rips.
It's the greatest movie ever. So Speed 2 stars Sandra Bullock and not Keanu Reeves. He is basically just straight up replaced by Jason Patric. They don't play the same character, but you can tell it was probably rewritten quickly to not be Keanu's character. In fact, Sam, in my little research, I discovered that once Keanu had turned it down, Sandra Bullock suggested Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, funny.
Who also turned it down.
Huh, I wonder why.
This time we're on a cruise ship and a mad bomber played by Willem Dafoe.
Ooh, hell yeah. I'm back on board.
Yeah, has, taken over the ship and basically takes us through every single beat from Speed 1, but worse, and features a climactic sequence in which a huge cruise ship is approaching a coastal town and crashes into like the dock. It's basically the exact same beat from Speed 1 where the bus crashes into a cargo plane at the end, if you'll remember. In Speed 1, that moment takes 30 seconds. In Speed 2, I shit you not, takes over a half an hour.
Oh, dude.
Where it's just like this boat approaching people in little boats, getting out of the way, and then the boat like hitting the dock and crashing through the dock and through buildings and stuff. And it just keeps going. And I was like standing up watching this movie thinking I was being like punked. Like I couldn't believe it. It's just not good. It's like doesn't look good. I knew that this would be the case probably, but sure. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, that sounds bad, man. One of the greatest Simpsons jokes ever written is the line, "Oh wow, this is like Speed 2 but on a bus instead of a boat."
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Another great Simpsons joke is, what's the name of the movie? What's the name of the movie where he's like, I'll fuck it up, but he's like, what's the name of the movie where the bus can't stop speeding because if the bus stops speeding, the bomb will blow up the bus? I think it was called The Bus That Couldn't Slow Down. Sandra Bullock is really trying, and I love her so much, but even Sandra can't save this. By the end, I was ready to not be watching any of these people, including Willem Dafoe.
Wow, what a waste. What a sad thing.
And this movie was another box office disaster.
Yeah, this was a huge disaster.
So, should you see this movie? No. Am I keeping this Blu-ray? Yes.
But why? I mean, I know you have a Speed shrine in our house.
Exactly.
But...
I have a copy of Speed 1 on VHS, Blu-ray, 4K, Laserdisc. I actually don't have it on DVD.
Wow.
But I feel like I need Speed 2 now that it's there. I don't know. Because I'm sick.
I hear you totally. And it's fine because like eventually you're just going to be like, oh, I'm not keeping this.
Or I'll realize that it's actually tight.
Yeah, catch us in 20 years when we're still doing this show and we revisit all the movies we already watched for it.
Willem Dafoe's character in this movie is sick, like terminally sick, and a huge part of this movie features him medicating by putting live leeches all over his body.
Ugh.
He has like a bathtub in his hotel room that's just full of leeches.
Ew.
And he like talks to them and puts them on his body. I remember seeing that in the theater and being like, what? Like, I didn't understand life the same after that moment. It was really traumatizing. I remember that well.
I'm sure. Sounds brutal.
All right, Sam, what's your final pick?
So for my third pick, I chose a movie that is very near and dear to my heart, that's also near and dear to your heart, and that is 1998's Small Soldiers.
Oh, I love Small Soldiers.
Hell yeah, man. Again, maybe not like a, bad movie, but maybe a silly movie or one that people might overlook. But this movie is actually awesome. Joe Dante directed this movie. It's got a great Phil Hartman performance, his last performance, I believe, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I guess for anybody who hasn't seen Small Soldiers, the plot is these weapon grade microchips get inserted into military style, kind of like G.I. Joe action figures, and they come to life and terrorize like two houses on the same street. And it's like a really fun kind of throwback romp. It feels like an 80s movie. I rewatched it last night with a tequila in hand and just had a great time. I know you and I watched this together virtually at some point recently, Kurt.
Yeah, when the Paramount Blu-ray came out of it, I believe we sat down virtually and watched it. It's PG-13. It has some really great action sequences with the toys and a kind of a healthy combination of practical and digital versions, I guess, of these toys. The practical ones are so tantalizing. Like you want to own it,
Yeah, they're so cool. It's a Stan Winston design for the characters and the toys and the special effects. Joe Dante also directed Gremlins, and it feels like a 90s version of Gremlins. It's a little spooky at parts. It's a little silly at parts. It's just a lot of cool creatures kind of doing battle with one another.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Gremlins with G.I. Joes.
Yes. And the G.I. Joes are the bad guys, which is awesome, which is like the most fun part of it.
How did this do at the box office? Do you know?
I'm not totally sure.
Let's look. $71.8 million against a $40 million budget.
Okay, so did fine, I guess.
This movie features a score by my favorite composer, who's Jerry Goldsmith. And there's a track at the beginning during a montage where you see the kind of assembly line of the toys coming together, and Jerry Goldsmith's score against that is just so epic and awesome. I listen to it all the time on Spotify.
It's a treat. It's a treat of a movie. I gotta say, when the Blu-ray first came out, Kurt and I watched it, as we said, and I had a different TV setup than I currently have, and I wouldn't mind an upgrade on this disc.
It's bad.
It's really bad. You can see like splice lines in the film, a bunch of digital noise all over the place. Hopefully we'll get somebody to drop a cool 4K of it soon. Even if Kino just cleans it up and gives me a new transfer, I'd be there for it. But I'd really love a big box with like a bunch of special features and some retrospective stuff on there. That'd be a lot of fun.
So yeah, come on, Criterion. Come on, Arrow.
Can you imagine? Criterion's like, hey, and for our December releases, we are dropping Joe Dante's Small Soldiers.
I have an action figure of this in my Blu-ray room.
Of Major Chip Hazard.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. This movie was big when it came out.
Yeah, it was a moment for sure. We were how old?
98, so 10. We were perfect.
10,
perfect age
yeah.
for this movie. This movie took over like my life for the summer that it came out. It was a July release.
It's a missed opportunity on physical media so far, and it took a long time for it to come out on Blu-ray.
Yes. What do you mean it's a missed opportunity? Just the presentation of it?
Yeah, it's just got such... The movie itself has such great internal kind of production design branding of these toys that you could have such fun with a beautiful package of it.
Without a doubt. Plus, it's one of those really fun movies from the 90s. You saw this a lot in the 80s and the 90s where they would cast a bunch of stand-up comedians in like more serious roles. So there's a scene in this movie where David Cross, Dennis Leary, and
Jay Moore.
Yeah, Jay Moore are all on screen at the same time, like in a boardroom.
Yep. Kind
of going back with one another. It's very silly to look at that scene now.
Kirsten Dunst is in this. Kevin Dunn is the dad, right?
Yeah. My man, Dick Miller, who you would know from, he's the mailman in Gremlins.
Yeah. He's in all Joe Dante's movies,
yeah.
right?
He was also a Roger Corman guy. Showed up in a lot of Roger Corman produced stuff.
Tommy Lee Jones is the voice of the bad toy, and then his adversary is voiced by Frank Langella.
Yeah.
So good. So this might be a controversial pick because Is it bad? I don't think so. I had never seen this. I had never really planned to see this, but this felt like a good opportunity to watch the 1990 Francis Ford Coppola film, The Godfather Part 3.
Wow, cool. Okay, funny.
So I have a 4K box set of the films.
Okay.
So I had it. And this version comes with the theatrical cut and then The Godfather Part 3 Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone, I think is the title.
He like re-edited it, right?
Yes. I watched the theatrical cut.
Okay. I've also never seen this.
Okay, yeah. It takes place in the 70s in New York and in Sicily, and essentially follows like Michael Corleone as he tries to go legit and basically do a deal with like the Catholic Church in order to take over a controlling share of like a international real estate conglomerate, but features, of course, the most famous line of the movie of, just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
I was going to ask if that was that movie.
When compared to The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2, this movie could be considered bad. I understand that. However, I think that it's a totally decent movie and probably better than a decent movie. I had a great time watching it.
Andy Garcia is in it, right?
Andy Garcia, dude, I feel like this movie really opened my eyes to Andy Garcia. I've seen him in things, but other than like The Untouchables,
I was just going to say, yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen him something where I'm like, oh, this dude's tight. And I watched The Godfather Part 3 and was like, oh my God, Andy Garcia is awesome.
Have you seen Black Rain?
No.
Michael Douglas and Andy Garcia are like partner cops in that movie.
Ridley Scott?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I think it's Ridley Scott, like 88 Japan.
Oh, done.
I mean, I'll do it with you. I've seen it, but I'm hopping in whenever.
I also watched Internal Affairs with him recently, and he rules, dude. Andy Garcia is awesome.
Internal Affairs is which one?
It is Andy Garcia and Richard Gere.
Okay.
It's like a early 90s LAPD thriller. It rules.
Cool. Yeah, I'll check that out.
But The Godfather Part 3, similarly in a way to like Speed 2, there is some kind of remember when we did this thing in the movie you loved beats that aren't as good. Similar to Speed 2, there's kind of an extended climactic sequence that I thought went on too long, where you're just like, just we've seen this already. Let's just get to the point.
Yeah.
But I do like the ending of this movie, and Pacino's awesome. Sofia Coppola caught a lot of shit for this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for her because apparently Winona Ryder like had to drop out because she got sick and Sofia Coppola took over. So it's, you know.
It didn't seem like from the things that I have heard about it, it didn't seem like she necessarily really wanted to either.
Okay. I mean, that could totally be. And
sure.
I feel bad when young people are ripped apart like that. But Sofia Coppola rules and she's doing fine. Yeah, I'm happy to have finally seen The Godfather Part 3.
Here's a question. Did it make money? I know that people don't like it, but did it make money? Like, how did it do box office wise?
According to Wikipedia, it made $137 million against a $54 million budget.
Okay. So it did fine.
It's one of those things where it's like, did we need it? Probably not, but I'm not as mad about it existing as I was expecting to be. You own like a la carte Godfather Blu-rays, right?
Yeah, you're right. I have 1 and 2 just on their normal Paramount Blu-ray releases. I would upgrade to a box set if it's the right price and on sale at some point. I don't know when I'm just going to throw on Godfather 3, but, you know, never say never.
Yeah, you should get this box set. The restorations are so good, especially the first two.
I think because of you saying you never saw The Godfather 3, I know the answer to this, but did you ever watch any of that cut that he did that it's all in like chronological order? So it starts with the Robert De Niro stuff from Part 2 and then goes through the rest of the movies.
I never did. Was that for television?
I think originally they did it for television, but then he like remastered it. I have like a VHS box set that was my grandparents that my mom sent me that I believe is set up that way.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so I'm absolutely keeping The Godfather Part 3 and someday look forward to that Coda cut. I generally don't get down with most recuts, I guess, but especially Coppola's. I'm very much a theatrical cut Apocalypse Now person.
Yeah, sure.
But I'd be curious to see Coda.
Yeah, that's cool. That's fun. I'll watch it someday.
Okay, as we do every episode, we're going to put some wishes out into the physical media universe for movies on formats that they do not yet exist on. Kim, Sam, here we go. I wish for a 4K from Kino or Criterion of Sunset Boulevard.
I wish for a Blu-ray of While You Were Sleeping.
I wish for a Criterion collection of Don Hertzfeldt's career.
Sam, tell us about Don Hertzfeldt.
He's a independent animator. People probably know him from that short he did that's called Rejected. That's like the Rejected cartoons from the Family Learning channel. It's all satire, but it's the My Spoon is Too Big, I Am a Banana. He has a couple of incredible shorts. I got to see one of his features that was made up of 3 separate shorts at the Hollywood Theater.
What's that one called?
It's Such a Beautiful Day.
Yeah, amazing.
It had been a minute since I'd watched any of his work, and I have some DVDs that have his work on it. I bought them directly from his website, but it would be awesome if somebody like Criterion or Arrow shined a light on him, because It's Such a Beautiful Day is truly a heartbreaking, extremely moving piece of animation, and animated in a really unique and cool style that I highly recommend people check out. And I would love to get a big old Blu-ray box set of all of his stuff.
I could see it. I watched It's Such a Beautiful Day on the Criterion channel for the first time.
Yeah, that's right.
So they certainly know who he is. Sunset Boulevard is, one of the greatest movies of all time. It's Billy Wilder. 1950, stars William Holden and Gloria Swanson, and is about a aging silent film star who hires a down on his luck screenwriter to rewrite a script meant to kind of bring her back into the spotlight. This is just one of my favorite LA movies, Hollywood movies, super haunting, and just a great kind of classic noir.
I really can't believe it's not out yet.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Paramount Blu-ray, obviously, that's been around forever, but it seems perfect for, I said Criterion or Kino, but honestly, Paramount Presents is probably the most likely one.
I could see it from any of them, honestly.
Yeah. Kimmy, While You Were Sleeping, all-timer. Great choice. Tell us about it.
It's a wild premise, but it's a very sweet, adorable movie, but it stars Sandra Bullock. It's a Chicago movie, so she works at the L station.
Hell yeah.
And she saves a man who's her deep crush, Peter Gallagher, when he falls onto the train tracks after being mugged. And basically insanity ensues from there, and she ends up falling in love with his brother, which is Bill Pullman, and he's so sexy and great in it. Anyway, it's a wild movie.
It's so good.
I forgot it was Sandra.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so cute in it.
I believe it's her film directly after Speed.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Wow. Right before Speed 2.
Right before it.
Is Speed too tight?
But yeah, While You're Sleeping is just one of my favorite Christmas movies to throw on. It's just a sweet, beautiful little movie.
Yeah, that was a family favorite of mine growing up. We had it on VHS. I've seen it hundreds of times. Have you seen this, Sam?
Yeah, but I don't think I've ever not seen it on TV.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was, again, one of those ones that just played during our childhood all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why this isn't on Blu-ray.
I will immediately buy it if it ever comes out on Blu-ray.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
All right, that's it for another episode of Physical Therapy, a movie podcast.
Let us know which movie you guys think is the worst or the best out of the 6 that we brought to the table.
And what bad movies do you love?
Yeah, we're interested. I almost picked Sister Act, but then I just realized that's a great movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
A big thank you to Patrick Laban for our music, as always. Thank you to Kimberly for producing. We will be back next week. We'll see you then.
Bye.